You've probably heard the mantra, don't compare yourself to anybody else, just compare yourself to who you were yesterday. And I want to talk to you today about why that might not always be the right thing to do. Hey there everybody, my name's Dave, aka Mindset by Dave, and I've been a mindset and mental health coach for the last 4 years, helping people to get more out of their mindset and to live better with a life that might be struggling with mental health. As well as creating content here on YouTube, I also stream live on Twitch every Sunday evening at 7 PM till 10 PM and every Tuesday daytime at 10 AM till 4 PM for a mental health drop-in chat. And I would love to have you as part of that community. Anyway, on with the content. So you may have heard the other expression that comparison is the thief of joy. This was a phrase coined by Teddy Roosevelt, and what it means is that when we compare, we often look at how we are worse than other things around us. So if we compare our bank balance, we might compare it to someone who's got a bigger bank balance, to someone who's got a nicer car, to someone who's got a nicer house, to someone who's got a prettier spouse. We can compare ourselves to all of these things, to someone who's got more likes on Facebook or Instagram. And it's actually very rare that we would look at it the other way and say, well, actually, I'm doing better than that person, so I feel good about myself. It doesn't tend to work out. When people realise this and they realise that comparing to other people is actually only ever going to cause you misery, the idea was, well, let's just compare ourselves to who we were yesterday, and the aim is to constantly be moving forward and getting better. All good, right? Well, not exactly, because when we compare ourselves to who we were yesterday, it only actually works in keeping us motivated if we're doing better than we were yesterday. For this person who's doing worse than they were the day before, it's actually going to have the opposite effect. And the thing is, we don't actually just compare to where we were yesterday, we compare to where we were at our best. And this is a principle that I first saw in action when I started working with athletes who become injured and are not able to do their sport anymore. During a rehabilitation phase, yes, they are getting stronger than they were the day before, but that's actually not where the person is comparing a lot of the times. Hence, they bring in someone to talk about mindset like me. And when I've spoken to athletes across the last few years, it's always been the same story, is they compare themselves to their absolute best. So they'd say, I used to be able to run this fast, I used to be able to lift this much weight, I used to be able to play this many minutes of football. And now, post-injury, sure, they might be getting better slowly, but instead of actually celebrating those results as they would have done, say, the first time around, now they're actually just comparing them to where they were at their absolute pinnacle and feeling terrible. And this doesn't just apply to athletes, it applies to any of us. Let's say right now you're currently unemployed and you compare yourself to when you were kind of riding high on the career ladder. Yes, you may be making progress towards getting a new job, you may be making connections, you might be working on your own personal skills. But if you're comparing to where you were when you're at the top of that ladder, it's going to actually cause you to be disinterested right now, to be disheartened right now. And if you've not already seen it, I've got a video called There's No Such Thing as Motivation, Only Momentum. This is one of those things that really rips our momentum to shreds. The idea of these kind of quotes, and in fact, if you were to go and find this only compare yourself to who you were yesterday quote on Instagram, I can almost guarantee that it would have hashtag motivation in there. And this is the thing, motivation only works on people that are already on the way up and already appreciating the fact that they're on the way up. If that person compares themselves to who they were yesterday and goes, yeah, I've got 5 more followers today, or I made a little bit more money today, or I've made some more progress, or I ran that little bit faster or that little bit further today, fantastic, that is going to work for that person. But say that person has just picked up an injury, they can't run today. Now they compare themselves to who they were yesterday, and yesterday they were someone who could run. Instead of being motivated to do their rest or do their physio or look after that injury so that they can actually get better, they actually spend that time wallowing whilst experiencing the injury and suffering twice, once from what's going on with your body and once from what's going on up here. Now, of course, there are exceptions to this rule. There are some people that when they lose everything, they go, yeah, I want to get back there. Gary Vee talks about this a hell of a lot. He talks about how he'd like to actually start from scratch all over again. But the prime example I can think of is David Goggins. He thinks and looks back and thinks, right, okay, I'm going to beat that person. I'm going to be better than that person. And that motivates him and drives him forward. And if that is the case for you, continue doing it this way. But I can almost guarantee that if you're watching this video, that's not the case for you. I'm going to say that you're probably more like me in the fact that when you come back at something like that, you need to actually focus on resetting the goalposts, and actually where our achievements are need to be relative to the current situation rather than what's been before. There are so many areas that this could come into play in 2020, especially as a lot of people might be returning to the office for the first time, returning to schools for the first time, returning to social situations. That person before may have been an absolute social butterfly, and now actually having had the last 7 months where they've not been able to see people on a regular basis, those social skills might not actually be as sharp as they were before. This in itself can lead to anxiety, because it can lead to a person going, "Oh, I used to find it so easy to go to these parties or these gatherings or to go into the office, and now I find it so difficult. What's wrong with me?" As a general rule, we like to be moving forward. We like to be achieving more. And that's why we like that quote, "when we're on the way up." And ultimately why we need to hit a reset on all of this is the fact that feeling like that will stop you from doing the work that gets you back to where you want to be. So say, for example, you've decided that you want to go back to playing the guitar after 10 years of not playing it. You pick it up, everything's a bit rusty. The first thing you do is you go, "Oh, I used to be so much better than this." And then the enjoyment goes out of the playing. The practice that you want to do or need to do to get back to where you want to go goes out the window because frustration kicks in, and then you don't get an enjoyable session. Then you put the guitar down, and the thing that you're actually doing there is you're sending a signal to your brain saying, "I didn't enjoy this. So why are you going to pick that guitar back up again tomorrow?" What we need to do is we need to focus on the process and focus on the fact that we're doing something and be proud of ourselves in the same way that we would have been proud of ourselves for hitting that achievement the first time. If you think back to the first time that you got good at something, sure, the milestones may have been few and far between, but when they came, you felt great about it. If that was mastering a new piece on the piano, if that was being able to paint with a new technique, if that was being able to run a 10K in under a certain amount of time, all of these things, you celebrated those things. But those are yesterday's achievements. And the thing about us humans is that we want tomorrow's achievements to be bigger than yesterday's achievements. But if we're coming back from some time off, what we need to realize is that that motivation, that pride in ourselves and our achievements was one of the things that kept us going back and doing the work, and the work itself led to the result. We need to tell ourselves that the work that we're doing is a good thing. So whatever you are trying to get back into, give yourself some pride about the fact that you're putting in the work. Reset the goalposts. Make those milestones brand new. Make it a 2020 PB as opposed to a lifetime PB, even if you have to make it a November 2020 PB. Because when we celebrate the fact that we've shown up, we've done the work, we've done the practice, we've got involved, then we tell ourselves, we send a signal to our brain that what we've done is good. And then when we get that feeling, it makes us want to go back and do it again. I've said it in so many videos before, but I'll say it one more time. We do not guilt ourselves into greatness. We give ourselves encouragement and we give ourselves compassion. And if all else fails, think of how you would encourage someone else to do the same journey. And encourage yourself in that way, because you deserve that too. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this content, and if you've not subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscription button. Remember that it is priceless to you, but it is priceless to me. And also remember that if you want to talk mindset, mental health, personal development, or any other conversation that you think is worth having with another human being, join me down at twitch.tv/mindsetbydave every Sunday evening from 7 PM till 10 PM and every Tuesday daytime from 10 AM till 4 PM. All of that is UK time. I will catch you down there.